please, I tell you, one-on-one. If you are a talker, stop on in and have a chat with Greg Walker. One-on-one. Let me tell you, brother, there's been imitators, but there'll never be another.
Oh. Hello, welcome to One-on-One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Mercy, we have a special guest with us today, a gentleman that I really think a lot of, and I think he is so talented. I believe you're going to really enjoy this show. As a matter of fact, we're going to do 2 shows with him because he's an entertainer as well. He's got a lot of great stories. He's lived an interesting life. He's a good man. He's a singer-songwriter. His name is Bobby Keel. Now, a lot of people know that name around this area. If you haven't seen him, ever heard him, I mean, he has got some great songs, and he's had them at the top of the contemporary country chart just recently. Settle back, relax, enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a nice man, talented man. Bobby Keel joins us right after these words.
Thank you for voting Matthews Nissan Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. We're doing it again. Big savings on 400 new, $7,888 off a new Altima, $5,888 off a new Rogue, $6,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville, in all media, 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has honored legacies. We believe every family deserves a special time of celebrating a life well lived.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to the show today. We got a great guest. Glad to have him in the house. Bobby Keel.
Good to be here, brother.
Good to have you, Bobby.
Man, you're looking good.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You're looking good.
Don't tell a tale now.
All right.
You don't want to tell a tale, but I do appreciate it. I have lost some weight, and I'm trying real hard. What I thought was interesting today, we didn't plan it, he's got his Ohio Valley Conference shirt on, and I got my Austin Peay shirt on today. Now, who would have thought that?
That's right.
Who would have thought that? How's the world treating you, Bobby?
Right. No bad days.
No bad days?
Don't believe in bad days.
How's your golf game?
It's around par.
Is it?
Yeah.
How'd you do with Pat Manning, one of my buddies the other day? How'd y'all play?
I love Pat. Pat's a great guy.
I said Pat Manning.
Pat Walker. I mean, Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant, yeah. Pat's a great guy. We had a lot of fun. In fact, I gave him one of my new CDs, and I got one for you out in the truck.
You're a good man.
Yeah, it's a compilation CD of songs that I've written, and I've got songs on it that Hank Jr. is singing, and David Allen Coe, and several others. And
boy, you've been fortunate in this business in a way, haven't you?
You know I have.
I know you have.
It's been a good ride. If it all ended right now, I've probably got 120 years under my belt.
He has some of the best stories too. How he got started is one of the more interesting stories. You got to start out today with that. Give them the crappie story for those that don't know it.
Well, I was about 17 years old, and I'd written a couple of songs, and I had them on a reel-to-reel. My cousins out the road bought one of those big stereo things, you know, and it had a reel-to-reel tape deck in it. So I would go out there to my cousin Nelda and her husband Lawrence's house and record songs and what have you. And so anyway, I made a tape and went to Nashville, and of course I figured, you know, just having two songs, it might be good to carry along a little sugar. So I had 5 bags of crappie.
That's some sugar.
Yeah, I had 5 bags of crappie and a frozen mallard duck. And so the first door I knocked on was Surefire Music, which was owned by the Wilburn brothers.
Uh-huh.
So I knocked on the door, and it was about halfway open. In those days, you didn't have fences and security guards around the offices, but so I knocked on the door, and this really nice lady said, "Come on in, may I help you?" Well, the first thing I saw was looked to me like a 10-foot tall picture of Loretta Lynn in a green chiffon dress, stage clothes, and boy, I tell you what, I knew I was in Nashville then.
Yeah, you in a good place.
Yeah, but the lady said, she said, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, I've written a couple of songs, and I would like to have someone listen to them." I had written a letter to Chet Atkins. Of course, I didn't know him at the time, but I'd written this letter. And he, about how to get in the music business.
Yeah.
And very nicely, he said, "Well, Bobby," he said, "what you need to do is come to Nashville." Mm-hmm. And so I did, and I took his advice. I didn't have to starve because I didn't live but 77 miles from Dover to Nashville, so I could go home.
You were born and raised in Dover?
Well, I was actually born in South Carolina, but I never lived there.
Oh, okay.
And that's an interesting story. My dad was working at the Savannah River Bomb Project down there, and at Aiken and Augusta, out in that area. But 3 months before I was born, my mom and dad moved over to Augusta. And so I went back across, Mama went back across the river, and I was delivered over there, but I never lived in South Carolina. But I've always attributed my golfing to 2 things: my great uncle Smith Keel, and being born in Augusta. You gotta,
there you go,
for whatever it's worth. But anyway, she said, "Well, we are a closed publishing company," which I had no idea what that was. Door was open.
Yeah.
So
it didn't look closed
she said, "We're a closed publisher." She said, and I don't know what prompted her to say it, but I had the 2 songs. She said, "Do you have anything else?" Which I'm sure she was referring to other songs.
Sure.
And I said, "Well, I've got some crappie in my cooler out in the car." When I said that, I heard this voice in the back say, "Come on back here, let me see what you got." And it was Teddy and Doyle's older brother, Les. And so anyway, he said, "Come on back here, let me listen to your song." So he put my tape on the tape deck and played it, and he said, "That's pretty good." I said, "Well, it's only 2 songs I've written, And he said, "Well, that's really good for just your first attempt."
Yeah.
And he said, "But we're a closed publishing company. We don't sign outside writers." This was before Loretta had coal miners music.
Yeah.
This was way back in the day. And
heck,
so
this was back in the 60s.
Yeah, it was 69. And so anyway, he said, "Now I have a friend that's got a publishing company across the street over here. And you might go over and talk to him." And I said, "Well, what's his name?" He said, "You say you got some crappie?" I was smart enough to realize what was happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, "Yes, sir, I do." And he said, "Fellow's Hubert Long, and he owns Moss Rose Publishing. And if you go over there, there'll be a real nice lady when you go up the stairs that'll greet you, and she will, she'll have one of their song pluggers listen to your songs."
Uh-huh.
So I left there with 4 bags of crappie.
You gave him a bag.
I gave him a bag of crappie, yeah. Went over there, and as soon as I topped the steps, this drop-dead gorgeous woman met me right there. And as I got to the top of the steps, she said, "You the feller with the crappie?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She said, the Wilbur's called and said you were coming over. And I said, "Well, that was nice of them." So I said, "I'm supposed to see somebody, I guess, She said, "Yeah." She said, "I'll call." She got on the intercom. She called this fellow Shotgun Ellis. Perfect name for a song plugger, Shotgun. Just scatter songs everywhere, So anyway, he got crappie. He got some crappie. The girl got a bag of crappie. So I still had a couple of bags of crappie. Well, I get back in the back, and of course the other 2 bags of crappie went pretty quick too. But Shotgun Ellis asked me where I was from, and I told him I was from Dover, Tennessee. he said, "Do you know Gerstle Watts?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "He's my uncle." Mr. Watts was, I don't know if he was the chairman of the Board of Education at that time in Stewart County or what, but he was a higher up in Stewart County's education department at that time. And he and I made friends, and they signed me to a publishing deal, $50 a week. Right there, of course, that's pretty good lick right there.
Man,
you know?
you're 17 years old.
And in fact, my mother had to sign my contract for me. But anyway, there was a stipulation. Now, every time you come up, bring a new song, bring some fish with you.
Hey, you were smart enough to, like you said, take that sugar with you.
You got to have some sugar.
Hey, if you hadn't have, you wouldn't even have got a chance.
That's probably, without a doubt.
I mean, think about that.
And, of course, coming back from Nashville that day, I come up through White's Creek.
Tickled to death.
Oh, absolutely. Coming up through White's Creek, and that poor old frozen mallard duck sailed off down the holler right there in Devil's Elbow. And because nobody wanted the frozen mallard duck, but boy, the crappie was a hit.
It was a hit.
I think the reason I took the ducks because it had probably been in the freezer for a year or two. But yeah, and then Hubert Long died about 6 months. By the way, the reason that girl was so beautiful, Hubert Long had the second key to the Playboy Mansion in Chicago.
You're a kid.
He and Hugh Hefner were best friends, and Hubert Long was a booking agent, a publisher. He handled Bill Anderson and a bunch of folks, you know, that were really big stars at that time. And he was a heck of a nice guy. He died of an aneurysm. I think he was about 46 or 47 years old. But he had a penthouse in the building there, and he lived back there. So after he passed, there was always stories about people could hear Hubert back there partying, you know, with the Playboy bunny that was the girl at the front desk, or the former Playboy bunny who was the receptionist.
Yeah.
Hence her beauty.
You know, we can't get out of our first segment here without you playing a song. Why don't you play, what song do you want to play for us first today?
What about the new one I played you a while ago?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
No Shame.
No Shame?
Yeah.
This reminds me of John Prine here. You know, I'm going to have to that's a compliment.
Absolutely. John Prine is an absolute songwriting, entertaining,
I love him.
Genius. He's been really ill the last few years, and if you ever get a chance, go see John.
Kidding.
It's a wonderful.
And do it in a small setting if you can.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
I mean, that's if you can do that.
You know,
the old Exit In was perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
You know, he still has lunch at Brown's Diner in Nashville about every day.
Really?
Yeah, he and Nancy Griffith and a few of them are up there.
My goodness.
So anyway, I wrote
You just wrote this not long ago.
A friend of mine said, she said, I want to write a song. And she was the ex-wife of one of my longtime dearest friends, Charky Christian. And she said, I've got a line, and I just need something for it. And I said, so we were talking, on the phone and what have you. And she said, go down Bourbon. And I said, is that it? She said, yeah, that's it. So I don't know if she was thinking about writing a song about whiskey or whatever, Yeah. And but anyway, this is the result of it.
This is real life, is what this is.
Yeah, and everybody can sing it because the whole chorus is not but 2 words, no shame.
No shame.
In fact, you can sing No Shame with me.
I'm going to pass and give you a break.
Oh, it'll be fine. Go down to Bourbon, take a left on Canal. There's a voodoo honey that can drive me wild. No shame, no shame, no shame. Well, pulled an all-nighter with a Southern Belle in Memphis, Tennessee in a cheap hotel. No shame, no shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. Jump in.
Oh, go
No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. Well, the cutest little honey that I ever saw was married to a judge out in Tahlequah. No shame, no shame, no shame. last time I saw her, I'd leave in town. Law on my tail and the hammer down. No shame, no shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. I never snatched a purse, never robbed an old lady, but I'll take anything from 18 to 80. No shame, no shame, no shame. Well, the preacher told me I was living in sin. I winked at his wife as I slipped him a 10. No shame, no shame, no shame. And that's why I'm back in New Orleans, laid up with that voodoo queen. No shame, no shame, no shame.
Bobby Keel back right after this. Great job.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome back. Bobby Keel, Bobby Keel Music. Also, you can get a hold of Bobby at bobbykeel@hotmail.com. bobbykeel@hotmail.com. He does a lot of gigs. You have just you were what, down in Gulf Shores not too long ago?
Right.
Down in Gulf Shore. And you have gigs all around, don't you?
I do.
You really do. You enjoy it, though.
I love it.
I mean, that's
The person that enjoys what he does never has to go to work a day in his life.
That's a good point. You've got a song here, Bobby, that has made it to the top of the country contemporary charts, and was there about 6 weeks.
It was on the internet side, and then it made it to the top of the charts in the regular country contemporary charts.
Tell everybody about this song.
I wrote this song with a good friend of mine, Sandy Carroll, who I met back in '84 in Memphis through a publisher friend of mine. And she and I wrote 3 songs that weekend, and all 3 of them got recorded. She recorded a song we wrote called Street People that charted, and we wrote a song called Memphis in May, which was adopted as the theme song for the Memphis in May Festival that they have every year in May, of course.
Yeah.
When is it? It's in May. And I had to stop and think. But anyway, she had a version of it. And so we also wrote a song called If You Got It, I Can Get It. And the late, great blues icon Albert King recorded it. And that was really pretty cool there,
that's
you know.
strong.
That's really,
Yeah.
that's kind of a feather. I had a song recorded by the Carter family as well. I am old, but they recorded the song that I wrote. And to have songs recorded by, the legends of.
Yeah, well, anytime you hit the charts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, that's big, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is, but I don't think I've ever written a song in my life thinking it,
Yeah.
with the
idea,
but
it's going to be number one.
Yeah, like most of the songs I write, I just write them, or co-write with folks. But, there have been times when I knew that a particular artist was getting ready to record, and I would direct my thoughts to what I thought fit their mold.
Right.
Like Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah.
Whiskey on Ice, yeah.
I love Bocephus, by the
Oh,
way.
he's a character.
Yeah.
We had a fundraiser down in Stewart County a couple of weeks ago for the Big Rock flood.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Hank lives across the lake, and he made a donation. I called down, and Miss Barbara at the office, she put together, call them goodie baskets. And it's got CDs, T-shirts, and stuff like that. And the Oak Ridge Boys, I'm friends with those guys, so they put a goodie basket together. And a friend of mine in Murray owns a music store. He donated a guitar, and I got the Oak Ridge Boys to autograph it. But getting back to Sandy here, what a great writer and performer she is. She's a wonderful lady, and her husband, Jim Gaines, engineered and co-produced.
Where can they find this song?
It's online. You can go to Amazon, whatever. I don't even know how you do all that stuff, really. But you can find, if you log in
Probably
Last
on
Southern
YouTube.
Bell. Oh, it's on YouTube, yeah. But you can go to just log in Last Southern Bell, Belle, and you can listen to it. Yeah, this song right here is really a good song. We co-wrote it with Mark Narmore, who has had huge hits for the group Shenandoah and other folks, and it's just a wonderful collaboration, you know. And of course, I love the South, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know you do. Let's hear. I love this song.
Okay, let's
come on,
see.
let the folks hear it.
She loves Elvis and Jesus and her red Cadillac, riding with the top down and the sun on her neck. Goes to church every Sunday, dressed to the nines. No doubt about it, she's the last of her kind. She's the last Southern belle, gone with the wind. Last Southern belle, you'll never see the likes of her again. She got a shoebox full of 80-year dreams, like the newspaper clipping when she was homecoming queen, and one where she's striking that Hollywood pose, trying her best to look like Marilyn Monroe. She's the last Southern belle, gone with the wind. Last Southern belle, you'll never see the likes of her again. Her unique way of living, dying can't tell, or pass down her story. She's the last Southern belle. She refuses to give up the only life she's known. Times keep a-changing till the old ways are gone. Rebels never surrender, she tells her daughter and son. There's only one war and the other side won. She's the last Southern belle, gone with the wind. Last Southern belle, you'll never see the likes of her again. She's the last Southern belle, gone with the wind. Last Southern belle, you'll never see the likes of her again.
Mercy, I like it, Bobby. I like it a lot. A lot of truth in that song also. Bobby Keel, you can find that song on YouTube, Last Southern Belle. Stretch Run with our guest right after this.
Thank you for voting Matthews Nissan Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. We're doing it again. Big savings on 400 new, $7,888 off a new Altima, $5,888 off a new Rogue, $6,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has celebrated legacies with services as unique as each life.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Bobby Keel, we've only got a couple of minutes. He's going to be back next week, show number 2. We got a lot to talk about. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of great music ahead as well. You can get a hold of him at bobbykeel@hotmail.com, and certainly I see him all the time. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. Go to facebook.com and just put Bobby Keel, K-E-E-L, put Bobby Keel up, and you can go to his page.
Shoot, yeah.
You know, today we're taping August the 17th. Special day, isn't it?
It is. It's my adopted 5th great-grandfather's birthday, Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
You
King
know,
of the Wild Frontier.
Absolutely. Davy went down. He lost everything he ever had and went to Texas and was down there 6 weeks. The last letter he wrote home said, "Do not fear for me, my little darlings, for I am with my friends." That was the last thing he wrote back to Tennessee. March 6th, he was killed at the Alamo and burned to ashes along with the other defenders. But here's for Davy.
He'll play us out with this. Tune in next week.
Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Tennessee, greatest state in the land of the free. Killed him a bar when he was only 3. Never made it back to Tennessee, but he made it to history.
Yes, he did.
Burned to ashes, we all agree. Nobody did it better than Davy. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. You know, he even patched up the crack in the Liberty Bell.